Welcome back. It's been a long time coming, but we are back with some new cars, new faces, and new places. It's the One Up Nitro National Series, back again for Season 3 of competition in 2023. It's going to be an absolute blast, bringing you the action for all 25 races this season from March till November. And it all starts here at the World Center of Racing, the Daytona International Speedway, for 50 laps of racing action, and it's just going to be an absolute thrill ride from start to finish for over the next 125 miles. And alongside me in the booth, as will be the case for every One Up Nitro National Series race this season, is Duke Ansack once again. It's great to have you with us. But this is a whole new challenge for everybody in this field. Not many of these drivers have been to Daytona before, so this is going to be a new challenge for everybody as a new season dawns upon us.
Yeah, it really is great to be back, and you're totally right about these drivers. Daytona is kind of a different kind of beast. We've seen racing at super speedways in the past here. We used to come to Pensacola, and then, of course, we go to Talladega as well. But Daytona, so far, has been a totally different monster. It's so much more narrow than it looks, and there's not a lot of places to make passes, as crazy as that sounds. You're seeing 2 and 3 wide action, and you got to be thinking, man, these folks are passing all the time, but it's hard to get up to the front when there's just nowhere to go. So we'll have to watch and see which drivers really prevail in this race. And there's a lot of great names in this field. It's completely stacked, and I am really excited to see what everybody has for this season out of the gate in this first race.
And now we can look at the starting lineup. This field was so tough to make to get into this race for the Nitro National Series that 2 Superstar Series drivers went home from go or go home qualifying, and 3 drivers who made every start last season also failed to qualify. So this was a very tough field to make it into. But for Austin Runkle in his first series start, he gets pole position alongside the winner of the season opener last year, Joshua Michaels. So they fill out the front row, a pair of Toyota Supras. Right behind them, there are a pair of Chevy Camaros in Robert Weaver and Audrey Ansack, starting 3rd and 4th, with Nicky Martinez rounding out the top 5. This is such an interesting field to take a look at. We've got a few drivers going down from the Superstar Series. Henry Thomas starting 6th. Blair in the 11. She starts 15th. So, and we've got a lot of new faces coming up through the field. We've got Todd Hemler back for another season in 8th. Alexa Luschan, winner of the Winter Classic a few months ago. She starts 7th. And just a lot of new faces, including a defending Turbo Truck Series champion. So there's a lot of action to be had here, and I can't even predict who's going to be on top at the end of today.
You're right. It's so tough to handicap this field, but I'll tell you what, I've got my eye on a couple people, and it's interesting because of the qualifying results have really shuffled things as to where I would have thought going into this race that they would be. And I'm looking at Elijah Ironhouse in 28th. Of course, he's one of my drivers, so you're thinking, man, of course Duke is going to bring up Elijah Ironhouse in this race. But seriously, that 8 car always seems to end up towards the top of the scoreboard in these super speedway races. So I really look to see that car do well. And then somebody else that I was shocked looking at this field starting in 33rd is Ricky Freeman Jr., who isn't only good at the super speedways, but pretty much everywhere we see Ricky Freeman Jr. In the mix. So I think that this is going to be an interesting race. People coming from the back, going to the front. It's going to be a lot of fury. It's going to be a lot of rage, and it's going to be a lot of chaos and excitement to start this season at Daytona.
So with that being said, we have 42 cars lined up on the grid, a brand new race car for this season, and we are ready to bring you 50 laps of racing from the Daytona International Speedway. This is the One Up Nitro National Series from Daytona International Speedway. The green flag is mere moments away, so stay tuned as we get our 3rd season of Nitro National competition underway. Getting ready to get the Nitro National Series underway for 2023, Austin Runkle and Joshua Michaels on the front row, green flag in the air. We are underway at Daytona for 50 laps. It looks like Runkle's going to get the run through the tri-oval, but I think Michaels is going to have more help on the top of the racetrack because Robert Weaver is not getting to the back bumper of that 5 car.
No, you're right. The top side is definitely more organized right now. It's something we're gonna have to watch is how close together these cars are, given the push from behind to the people in the front. That's the name of the game here at Daytona. And the bottom lane, surprisingly, has started to pull slightly ahead. Of course, they're still 2x2 all the way back down the back straightaway at Daytona. They're not even quite up to full speed at this point. I think that they're just now getting there. So this is this race only getting started here, and we've already got some furious racing. They're already 3 wide midway through the pack.
That's Kasim and Nan in the middle in the block by Dodge. So Nan getting a little racy in the early stages, but it's Austin Runkle who leads his first lap of Nitro National competition. But Joshua Michaels is still on that outside groove, and he's won at these super speedways before. He knows what to do.
Yeah, you're right. And something else to note about this season in Nitro National Series competition is that some of these cars have gotten a little bit of an update, facelift type of thing, and this is the first race with those new updates. So that could play a factor as well. And then, of course, we have all these new faces and new places that we've seen and talked about already. So it's going to be great to document all these amazing drivers in this race. And so far, neither of these two at the front have an edge on each other.
Coming off of turn 2, there's a little more frenetic action at the back of the field, but it's orderly 2x2 at the front as Runkle continues to hold a small advantage over Michaels. It all depends on what Robert Weaver and what Audrey Anzac can do behind, because that is going to be the big factor in who gets an advantage out front. You need a lot of help to get to the front and to stay out front. So who gives the biggest push could be a big factor here today.
Yeah, something I'm noticing right now is that the outside lane is staying pretty in line with each other, single file all the way back, and they're not really moving out of line at all, except for you see Robert Weaver right there disproving my point. But you look at the bottom lane, even in second place right now, they're not perfectly lined up. I'm not sure how that's going to play into this game, but you look at that bottom lane all the way down the straightaway here, and of course this is more like a corner on the tri-oval, but you watch them all the way back, and they sort of don't really fall in line with each other. In fact, right now, that 5 car was really kind of in the middle of the track. So we'll keep an eye on that throughout the day, see if that does end up impacting the bottom lane, or if it ends up impacting the top lane later in the day. That'll be interesting to see.
As they power down the back straightaway on lap number 4, you can see the speed starting to climb. In practice and in qualifying, these cars were a lot slower than their Turbo Truck Series counterparts. So a little bit of a surprise to see for the Nitro National cars to be the slowest cars in the series, but that hasn't stopped the racing action from being plenty exciting.
Boy, and we got a move there from the 4th row, but there was no momentum involved. But yeah, that's kind of the thing. This whole bottom lane is starting to make me a little antsy, a little nervous, because they're all moving around a lot on the straightaways. So we'll see if maybe that could spice up this race a little bit once they're at the bottom. But this is what I was talking about in the pre-race. There's 2 wide and 3 wide all the way back through the field, and there's just no passing. Nobody can go anywhere. It's too tight to make any moves. So somebody's going to have to be bold, and somebody's going to have to be aggressive to really start gaining some positions.
And I think that aggressor might be Robert Weaver in that 66. He won at Talladega last year in a part-time capacity, so he knows how to make moves. It's just going to be a matter of timing at this point, because, remember, this race is being held in the daylight, while the truck race last night was in total darkness. So that could be a factor as well in how this race will progress, because the sun is baking this racetrack very much, and that'll cause a loss of grip, a lot higher speeds than perhaps we would have anticipated, but definitely the lack of grip. You need a good handling car to win this race, and with a pit stop in this race uncertain at best, there's not many opportunities to make adjustments.
Yeah, you're right. And even so, we're likely to possibly get 1 pit stop in this, but 2 might be stretching it. And so you really have to know exactly what your car is doing and be able to adjust on it in that 1 stop, because that is likely the only time you'll get. And right now, this 5 car, I don't think can be held on the bottom, and is now in the sucker hole, and Audrey Anzac on the outside is also in the sucker hole. This might be the chaos that we needed to start some passing here. The 18 and the 33 on the outside lane. And this has shifted things. Robert Weaver goes to the top. Yeah, this is a very fascinating situation. New development. Now we're 3 wide towards the front, and this is going to make everything slightly more chaotic than it was.
Here comes Nicky Martinez with a push from Alexa Lucian on the inside groove. The two drivers that they seem to always find each other on this Nitro National Series racetrack, but it's going to be Robert Weaver being the first driver other than Austin Runkle to lead a lap today. And a bit surprising considering back in last night's race, the driver who led the most laps only led 7, and Austin Runkle's already led 6, and we're only on lap 8.
Yeah, that's the nature of Daytona, you know, the most laps led being only a few. But yeah, right now the first 7 laps of this race were pretty calm, and now look at this pack. Nobody's lined up quite with each other anymore. And it looked like Austin Runkle was stuck in the sucker hole, but then the whole top lane dropped down in the corner right behind the 5, and now the 5 is stuck on the way outside. It's just incredible how quickly things can change, but look at the disorganization towards the back. That's what you need for passing here at Daytona, so I'm sure all those folks in the back are pretty happy that they can start making some moves, but it does make this more dangerous and more prone to possibly getting an accident here on the speedway. Could be in the turn, could be on straightaway. Nowhere is quite safe unless you're out front like this 66 is.
Yeah, Robert Weaver's been able to get out in front and stay there. He's got a bit of a gap, actually, to Martinez and Mashburn in the second row. And now Robert Weaver's actually got a teammate to come with him in Miles Mashburn. Remember, Mashburn is driving that 72 car that Robert Weaver won with at Talladega last fall. So these Roberts cars are very powerful in the super speedways, and Robert Weaver and Miles Mashburn are certainly proving that here today.
You're right. The Roberts racing cars are known to be really good at the super speedways, and this is another situation where that's proven to be true because they're both right there. And this is a interesting deal. And I'm noticing also that the 18, the 33, and one behind them that I couldn't identify are all slipping more towards the back in this. They were up front. I think it's the 12. No, the 12 is still up there, so I'm not sure who it was, but they're farther back now. And they are still up on the outside. Oh, I couldn't even tell who was there. But yeah, that's not very good for them. And we'll see if they're able to sneak into a line here and maybe get themselves integrated in this main package.
Oh, we got a spinner! We got a spinner out of the tri-oval, and it looks like it's the third Robbers car of Riley Hooper in the 69. No caution flies for this. We stay green. Wow. But Riley Hooper has just lost the draft, and it looks like we've separated the pack a little bit. Riley Hooper, man, what a catastrophe for his race.
The track, it didn't even spin all the way out, so I see why there was no caution there. Everybody's safe, continue to race, all good. So what that second pack needs to do is they need to line up single file so that they can catch this main group, because if there is no caution in this race, which I wouldn't rule out, they are going to need to be part of that top pack to be able to be part of this thing. And you see that that 69 car continues on the track despite those tires that have taken a slide. Meanwhile, his teammates battle for the lead.
So while two Robbers racing cars battle for the lead at Daytona, the other runs in 42nd place, completely out of the draft. And unless he gets a quick caution, that might be the end of Riley Hooper's competitive race. But his teammate, Robert Weaver, is continuing to run out front in this race. He's doing a pretty good job holding up the pack, but now his teammate Mashburn has been supplanted by another good super speedway driver. That's Blair in the Gatorade Ford. She moved down from the Superstar Series after several years up there. She's getting a second chance with Finish Line Motorsports in this number 11, so we'll see what she can do in this full season.
Yeah, I am excited to see what that 11 car can do. I mean, this is Blair driving that car really is a great opportunity, and it should be it should be exciting to watch throughout the whole year, especially at super speedways like we are here at Daytona. And right now, showing up in second place, and we'll see if that improves throughout the day. Right now, they're starting to spread a little bit towards the front. They're kind of single file, 3 rows. So, of course, behind it goes 2 wide and then ends up 3 wide. And that's where all the excitement is right now. But, hey, I'll tell you what, Robert Weaver holding on to the lead very, very well in this race so far. That car looks like it'll be tough to beat. And here's the slow one.
We got Nathan Meyer in the 77. Looks like he's lost the lead draft as well. In the 77, Riley Hooper even further behind. So those two have got a lot of work to do in this race. I was going to mention, as you started talking about the 11, the Team Dayspring car is starting to flex their muscles. The 03 of Zachary DeLella, that bright yellow Toyota on the top. And just the 2 cars behind him is Cody Goforth, who won at Homestead last year. So these two are going to have a great season, I'm sure. And there's that 91 of Ricky Freeman Jr. You mentioned him at the top of the show. He's now snuck his way into the top 10.
Yeah, that's not exactly unexpected, I'd say. That car, a lot of people I know were watching to see how quickly it or how long it took, really. And we're on lap 15 of this race, and that car is now in the mix. So that's definitely really great driving there. And I'm excited to see what happens once that car starts to sniff some clean air. And we got a battle for second place now. They're side by side with Blair on the top. And this is starting to get interesting. We're starting to see some comers and goers here, because now I'm looking at Alex Verjeparub is up there, and we've got the 1 car right there, and of course this 86 as well, the 54. I mean, these are a lot of new faces that we haven't seen up front yet in this race.
Yeah, this is the 86 of Chrissy Spletzer. They're making their Nitro National Series and their one-up debut as a whole in this race. And Spletzer now makes their way up into second place. This is the car that A.J. Jones drove last year. Now he drives for you in the Superstar Series. So this is a car that could surprise, especially if Spletzer gets well acclimatized to these cars. And it can't hurt that they're getting a push from a fellow Dodge in Kasim Adnan in the 1.
Yeah, and AJ Jones really did perform well in that car, and of course it has earned him a ride in the Superstar. Oh, wow, the wall just went straight into the wall.
Oh, Adnan into the wall. Trouble for the 1 of Kasim Adnan. His wall riding turns 3 and 4. This could spell trouble for the pack to stay connected as a whole. Adnan looks like he'll be able to make it to pit road once again. No caution for that.
I'm shocked on the no call there for that. That was a huge hit in the wall. I couldn't tell what happened. It almost looked like a blown tire or something. It was kind of wild, but we got a battle for the lead because of it. What a crazy change of events. This whole pack is split. We got 2 cars fighting side by side for the lead at Daytona.
And now it's mono-y-mono with Robert Weaver and Chrissy Spletzer battling for the lead. But don't look now. Here comes a pack of about 6-7 cars, led by Shantley Daniel in the 41 Jeff Bolton Racing car. So, This pack has been completely separated by the Kasim Adnan crash. And now look at this. Look at this. The field is spread out completely, and the biggest pack in the field is all the way at the back of the pack.
I am shocked that there was no caution called on that. Of course, we would have seen a caution if there was debris on the track, so we can assume that there isn't. And this is an odd situation that we have here. All these folks, they're 3 wide. It's just how it is here in the Nitro National Series, but 3 wide, battling for the top few spots here. And it looks like that number 1 had a camshaft issue. That's an early report, of course, but boy, that was a crazy moment. I'm not sure. There could have been some contact from behind, but it sure did look like that car just shot straight into the wall and straight away of all places. So odd. Wow.
So Kasim Adnan becomes the first retiree of the Nitro National Series in 2023. It's a shame to see him fall out of this race, but he'll be back in 2 weeks at Las Vegas to try again. But we're 3 wide for second. Spletzer's making a run at it again, with Jonathan Lawson to their outside. And there's Zachary Bilson in the 81 car. He had a stellar Turbo Truck Series season last year. And if he's going to have a great year in the Nitro National Series before he potentially bows out of the sport, he could have a great time in the Nitro National Series if he's going to make this one season it. He's having a great run. He's at running 3rd.
Yeah, and right now this pack has started to organize a little bit more. This pack of 9 or 10 cars, too busy to count, but
Looks like
yeah, this is
11 actually.
11 cars.
11 cars in this lead group. Then the Ego Yepes quite a ways behind.
Yeah, and they're not really organized back there right now. You kind of want them to be um in a single file group. That's how they're going to catch these guys, especially while they're side by side like this, still racing for this top spot. So the when you get the packs that are side by side, they're punching a bigger hole in the air. So if you are in a pack that's single file behind them, you'll be able to set faster lap times. And of course, you have to get everybody working together. And I just caught a glance of that pack behind them, and they are almost all the way back 3 wide. So they aren't making up any time on these guys right now. If there isn't another caution, this group, yeah, that group in the back is absolutely chaos. So this group of 11 in the front is looking like they're going to battle for the win unless something else changes. If we get a yellow, if we get some pit stops, those are the two things that'll change it. But right now, these top 11 are looking really good and great position to possibly have a chance to win or at least lead some laps in this race.
So as Chrissy Spletzer takes the lead for the first time this afternoon, I was pointing, our cameras were focused on the two Fords making their way to the front. That's Logan Jones in the D4 Motorsports number 94. This is his first Nitro National Series start. And right behind him in that orange and white number 92 is the defending Turbo Truck Series champion, Ryan Griffin, in that Ford, Little Caesars Ford Mustang. That is going to be a dangerous combination this season. Ryan Griffin had such a good season in the trucks last year. I fully expect that to continue in the Nitro National Series. He started 31st in this race, but he's made his way to the front, and now, barring a yellow flag or barring any pit stop calamity, he's going to be guaranteed at least a top 11.
Yeah, and it's looking really good. Like I said, for all these guys, and that group is starting to look slightly more organized. I'm not sure if it's going to happen though. There's too many cars back there to organize everybody. Everybody's desperate to get spots, and we'll just see what happens. But this right now is looking a little wild. 3 wide for the lead, and I'll tell you what, Robert Weaver through all of this has remained at least next to the leader, side by side with them. So. That car is really strong right now. Inside, outside,
oh my
middle,
god, that was close.
help.
Look at the top 3. There's not even a 100th of a second separating the top 3 of these cars on lap 22. This race could have just, if that was the final lap, this race could have been decided in a dead heat with 3 cars.
Wow. You are right. That is absolutely incredible. And I'll tell you what, that back group has started to be a little bit more organized, and I can't tell you it's a really slight amount, but I think that they might be catching this group slightly. So we might have some more pretty intense racing in store for us. But right now, this is absolutely wild. They're 3 wide in the front, and that 86 has no help in the middle of the track, has been able to stay between the leaders. This is absolutely incredible. Let's see how close they are coming across the line this time.
I think Spletzer had the lead at the line. They're separated by 1/100th of a second at the line. That is fantastic. These 3 of these 3 drivers, only Robert Weaver has any Nitro National Series experience, and he only has a handful of starts. Logan Jones has no starts prior to today. Chrissy Spletzer has no one-up starts at all before this race. Ryan Griffin, this is his Nitro National debut. Bruin Kingley in that 56 up high, it's his Nitro National debut. Oh my goodness, Jonathan Lawson making his Nitro National debut. In fact, looking at this field, this pack right here, of these 11 cars, only 2 of them have run a full Nitro National season before. That's the 3 of Alex Vergepperube and the 10 right behind him in Ryan Arnold.
Yeah, this is a pretty impressive group of characters right here that we have. And again, they were only separated by the 100th. Even 4th place, not even a 10th back. This is incredible racing right now. But it looks like that car, the blue one, has gotten ahead, but not for long with the 66 all by himself on the outside lane. That's the 94 in the middle now and the 92 on the bottom. And they're 3 wide once again. We'll see how this continues to evolve. And of course, that pack, the second pack, I still believe is catching, and they are lurking, and they are ready to fight for the win, and they're 3 wide all the way back. But this is, yeah, absolutely incredible. I can't even describe it.
I honestly think that 66 is probably the best car here. He's able to get runs and make passes without any help behind him. Look, he's doing it right now.
Yeah.
Logan Jones is about a car length and a half behind him, and he's still able to keep pace with the 92 and the 42 on the bottom, who are lined up nose to tail. As we now got Alex Verstappen breaking a dive to the inside of Kaminsky in the 42. So this is just a fantastic setup to this race. I'd like to have more cars up here, but if we're only gonna have these 11, this is a great cast of characters to set up for the finale.
You are totally right about that, and I totally agree with Robert Weaver having the best car. If you're going to win this race, you're going to have to beat the 66. I mean, look, he's pulling away all by himself. That car slips through the air like nothing else. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Has driven past the 92 now and is clear for the lead. This is phenomenal work from Robert Weaver in that 66 car.
And it's not like he's a complete rookie. He has Nitro National experience. He won at Talladega last fall, and he's got a full turbo truck season under his belt, and he won at Pikes Peak down there. So he's a really good all-around driver. Robbers Racing did well to keep him around. As we look back at the second pack now, it's just they're still 3 wide. It's just really hard to gauge how much they're closing in, because at this point.
Yeah, it's slow. But I do believe that they're gaining slightly.
They're about 3 seconds off the lead of this lead group now. So we'll keep checking in on that, see if they make any inroads. I just don't. These guys are too organized, I think, for the backpack to make any gains. I think it's going to come down to these 11 cars, barring any serious incident.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. We'll see though, because once they start to get racy, if they kind of go 3 wide, if they catch these 2 lappers, I mean, who knows? The 69 has overtaken that other one that has fallen off the pace. That's pretty interesting. We'll see if they catch them. Not sure.
Oh, they will. They absolutely will. They're on the same straightaway now.
That's going to change how this race ends for sure. And it could allow that backpack to catch up to the front pack.
And keep in mind, those 2 cars that are running by themselves, they're not slow cars. They're not damaged. Riley Hooper might have a few flat-spotted tires after that spin out of the tri-oval, but Nathan Meyer's got a pretty good car, and Riley Hooper, if his car is anything like his teammates, he could stay in the mix. I think they might be able to assimilate into this pack, and they might even be able to pull away a little bit. It's good. We still got
make them stronger.
We still have 20 laps to go, but at the rate they're going, man, this is going to be an interesting situation. I think that accident that Kasim Adnan had completely changed the course of this race. We had a huge pack of cars before that. We had 42 cars strong in one pack. Well, 40, honestly, if you discount the 77 and the 69. But we still had 40 cars in a pack together, and then Kasim Adnan crashed, and now we only have 11. So it's a very interesting dynamic of this race.
Yeah, and it's a big shame that Kasim Adnan crashed. He had a really fast car, but props to him for keeping it up on the wall instead of bouncing down into the pack like we see so often, and oftentimes you can't control that happening, but Kasim Adnan did a great job of keeping it up on the wall, allowing everybody to go by in the bottom. That's why there was no caution called from race control, and we're able to continue to watch this race unfold. While different than it was before, it's definitely still, I mean, we've stayed green the whole time, so no breaks for these drivers. The green flag drops, and you're working the whole time. It's been incredible so far.
And we're getting to that point now where people are thinking about coming down pit road to make their one and only stop of this race, because this was around the point in time when the trucks started to peel off to hit pit road. But those trucks were going a lot faster than these national cars are. I'm not sure how, but they were. So at this point, I don't even know. You think they might try and stretch it all the way if they're going this far?
I'm not sure. I mean, the trucks were all pitting between lap 30 and 35. If they if these guys were to go all the way, that's an additional 15 laps, at the minimum. So I'm not sure if it'll happen. We'll see. But I think that I'd be surprised if they went all the way without making a pit stop, especially with the green flag race the whole way. That's a lot of people.
Although if you stayed in the draft the whole time and weren't leading, you might have a chance at it if you're half throttle.
Yeah, so then you look at Robert Weaver and of course this 92 as well on the bottom and say, wow, I wonder what kind of fuel they're using in comparison. But now we've got lappers involved and they're about to be caught right now at the start finish line. This is going to change things.
So Nathan Meyer is the first one to be caught.
Oh boy, Robert Weaver got blocked. Sorry.
Oh, this is not what the 66 wanted to see. I think that 77 is slightly off the pace, only by a few miles an hour, but that's making all the difference now. I think Riley Hooper is actually the faster of these two, and he might be able to get picked up by the pack. But Nathan Meyer's just holding up everybody behind him. Weaver, Bilson's back there. I think Ryan Arnold's back there. Lawson's there as well. That is heartbreak for Robert Weaver. You never know though. He's still got time to get back to the front. But what an unfortunate setback for him.
With a car like that, though, you have to wonder if it won't take very long for the 66 to climb back up to the top. But it is a severe setback. You don't want to be at the back of this whole group of 11 cars. So we'll see. It looks like, did you catch right there? Is the backpack catching?
We didn't see it. I don't think they did. If they did gain, it was only by a couple tenths. And now this front group is one car stronger. Now that Riley Hooper has been picked up by the pack. So at this point, I think their position's even stronger now. Now that they have an extra drafting partner. And hey, that gives Robert Weaver a teammate to work with now.
So now that those lappers have come through this pack, we've got a couple of new cars at the front. We've got Alex Verjeperub leading the bottom lane, and of course that 86 car of Chrissy Spletzer on the top lane. So this is going to be interesting to see how these two cars are able to lead and control each lane differently than Robert Weaver and that 92 car were previous. So we'll see. And I'm also curious to watch that 66 car start to try to maybe weave through the group, maybe try to start making some passes. I don't know.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Yeah. You like that one?
Absolutely. But we still have 15 laps to go, and this is going to be an epic battle for the rest of the way. Because Alex Verjeperub, remember, he started this race in 35th position. And remember, last year in the season opener, he had a heavy crash and left the season opener with negative points on a penalty. So for him to get a top 11 here, in all likelihood he probably will. That'll be a serious advantage compared to last year.
Not looking good with that car in the middle, though. Stuck in the middle, it looks like it's going to get some help here. Alex is going to get a push from that 92, but this is only helping Robert Weaver gain. And I am telling you that backpack is gaining some time.
It might not for much longer, though, because that 77 is just dropping. Yeah, the 77 of Meyer is been dropped by this pack, and they're going to catch him most likely. I seriously think these now 12 cars up here are going to decide this race between them.
Yeah. Well, and even if that pack back there does gain enough time to be part of this front group, they're facing a 3-wide blockade of cars basically that they can't get through. So they probably won't have any impact, but it certainly is interesting to see how far they will be able to get, and especially now that lapper is impacting them. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But now we've got a new leader. It's the 41 who has gone out front, and it just shows how strong that 66 was, able to stay out front for so long. And now none of these people who have gone out front since that point have been able to keep the lead. So we'll see what the 41 can do with the same clean air that everybody else has been dealing with. But yeah, it's the 41, it's the 56, and then behind them it is the 94. So we'll see what they're able to do up front. But Robert Weaver has slowly been coming back up through the pack and is now up to, what is that? It looks like 5th, possibly 4th in a moment.
Yeah, Robert Weaver's been making a fantastic charge to the front because even with the addition of Riley Hooper, there's only 2 cars in this league group that have run a Nitro National season before. It's still the 10 and the 3. Could they maybe try and team up, even though they're not with the same manufacturer, to try, because experience pays dividends no matter what. So if those two try and work together in the drafts, they might be able to pull something on all these rookies.
Yeah, you're right, and right now they're kind of stuck on that outside lane. So far, what I've seen is that the inside is kind of the place to be. It's not really like a massive advantage, but that's people normally slide up the track, and especially with the tires being almost 40 laps old now, you're going to have people sliding up the track. And we were just taking a glance at that group in the back. It's led by the 12 car right now.
And they're now 4 seconds off the lead. They're not gaining any time.
Oh, it was crazy. Everybody can be mad at me. It's fine. It's fine.
Well,
here's Weaver on the bottom.
Yeah,
trying for second place.
He's back and he's angry now. He wants the lead back.
Yep.
It's good. And now if that 69 can catch up, their teammates, they could try and work together. And the 16 of Lawson's up there. That's another Chevrolet they could try and work with. It's going to be interesting. We're now at 11 laps to go. And they still haven't come down pit road, I've noticed. So,
and it could happen. If it's going to happen, it'll probably happen within the next 5 laps, I'd say. But after that point, you're pushing to try to make it to the end. I mean, if you haven't pitted after lap 45, you might as well just try to stay out, see what happens. It's not going to, whether you pit or you run out of gas, it's going to be kind of the same difference. But Robert Weaver, while he is the fastest, that makes me the most worried about the pit or about the fuel situation with that Chevy Camaro, who is now retaking the lead over the 41, and that is going to be a tough sell with the 69 just behind. I don't know who's going to be able to beat that 66 car.
And while Riley Hooper is a lap down, he can provide drafting assistance to Robert Weaver, and if they can clear this pack, he can act as a buffer between the 66 and everyone else. So it's going to be interesting to see. We have 10 laps to go. These guys are just, there's no chance the second pack. There's no chance they're going to catch up. So it's going to come down to these 11. It's a shame for all those guys at the back, but it's gonna be a very interesting conclusion to this race, regardless of the outcome.
You're right, and I think that the 81 car might have something to say with it. I saw that the nose of that Toyota Supra peeking out on the bottom just to see if there's anything down there, anything to be had, to possibly try to get past that 69 car. We'll see what if that turns into anything or not. But yeah, see, there it is again. Just that little sneak peek, trying to get down there, going into the corner. It's not enough momentum down there on the bottom lane, farther back. But we'll see if that turns into anything. That could change the dynamic. That's what I'm watching right now, just to see if anybody can kind of make a move from the back. Who's going to be the most aggressive? Who's going to try to make the move?
And takes notice at the back of that pack. You remember when I said the experience pays dividends? Look at the 10 and the 3. There knows the tail again.
Right. You're right, and they've got a lot of work to do, but there's enough time still. If you start picking them off here, you might get the chance. So we'll see what happens. There goes the 81 down to the bottom. It looks like now they're going to be 3 wide for the second place, and that is great news for everybody on the bottom lane. Split up those 2 cars, make it so the 66 has to defend this race on his own. And right now he's going to stick in front of his teammate, and it's going to open up the door for the 81 on the bottom lane. So now we've got a side-by-side battle for the lead. Robert Weaver, without much help on the top and sort of middle lanes, right there. Man, oh man.
But we've seen he doesn't need any help to keep the lead, so it's going to be interesting to see. And here comes Splitzer back to the inside with help from Ryan Arnold. This is 3 wide, several rows deep. Robert Weaver's been pushed up to the top, and now Ryan Griffin makes his way to the bottom, pushing that 3 car. So any one of these cars, bar the 69, has a chance of winning this race as we come now to 7 laps to go.
Yeah, and that 92 car going to the bottom lane, it's going to be bigger news than we might think. Of course, all the lanes are even, but that is a fast car pushing that bottom lane forward. We'll see. You watch them compress right now, and that's going to launch that 86 car out ahead of everybody. So, and the 81 is pulled in front of Robert Weaver, so no longer a factor as far as being on the front row is the 66 car, and the 10 is moved up to the top, leaving the 3 leading the bottom lane. This is great racing with so few laps to go here at Daytona.
How about Ryan Arnold, though? He's getting a push from Alex Verstappen. Ryan Arnold, he offered a massive upset at Hillside last year. Could he do the exact same thing again here at Daytona as we come to 6 laps to go? Now, he pulls out ahead of Spletzer. Alex Verstappen's right behind, and Ryan Griffin's back there as well. This is an intense battle for the win, and we're only about 6 laps away from deciding the winner here at Daytona.
Yeah, you know, and you totally called it. The 3 and the 10 working together, they kind of ended up forming what seems to be a temporary partnership in this race, worked together, made it to the front somehow, some way, and now it might come down to between those 2 drivers, the 2 with the most experience in this pack, the only 2 without a rookie stripe on the back bumper. That is going to be absolutely incredible, and they're side by side now, and the 92 pushes the 3 to the lead here at Daytona.
Alex Verstappen trying to redeem himself after that disastrous start to 2022. He wants a win, and we're now at 5 laps to go. At this point, you're not going to come in to top off the tank. You're going till it blows.
You are absolutely right, and we'll see what happens with that. I'm not super concerned about it at this moment, but the 92 has gone to the bottom. That is a very fast car to have leading one of these lanes, and we've seen a little bit of a cycle like we used to see at Pensacola, where if somebody will take the lead, the tires are so old, they slide up the track, can't really hold it on the bottom unless you're in the draft with people beside you, and then you get passed by the lane on the bottom. The bottom lane is just kind of the place to be, and Robert Weaver, who is all the way back at 11th now, has the opportunity to drop all the way down.
Oh, that second pack's broken up. I think there's been an accident back there.
Uh-oh.
And caution flies for the first time tonight. This could be it.
Oh, no. What a great race.
Oh, Blair in the 11 with a lot of damage on the 11. I was right about that accident. Zane Grayson in the 59. Nicky Martinez with a lot of damage. Cody Goforth on pit road. He was having a strong day. Elijah Ironhouse with a small bit of damage, and I honestly think this is going to be the end of the race right here. Unless they do a very quick cleanup, Ryan Griffin might have just won this race.
Boy, oh boy, that is a shame for all those drivers involved, and it's a shame that we won't get to see what was an amazing race complete under the green flag. A heartbreak for Alex Verstappen, but if it's true, that 92, that team is going to be celebrating big time. Ryan Griffin coming to the Nitro National Series in a big way. Oh man. What a win it would be. My goodness.
And after winning that truck championship, it just goes to show you he is back and ready for another championship at this rate. But we'll see. There is a chance we could resume this race, but it's very unlikely at this point in time. But never say never. And I notice at the back of the shot, you gotta feel for Robert Weaver after leading 21 laps of this race. He won't even get a top 10 to show for it.
Well, they'll be able to put that car in on the trailer, take it back, knowing that at least, if nothing else, they had a car.
DeLello's got a bit of damage on his 03, maybe in the stack up coming to the yellow flag. That's got a sting for Team Dayspring. Their 2 main cars being wiped out in the same crash. That's just heartbreaking to see. Oh, I think Cody Goforth ran out of gas, and he stacked up the entire pack doing that. Oh, and Nicky Martinez got launched by the 11. That was a scary-looking impact there. I think the catalyst of that was Cody Goforth running out of gas in front of everybody.
Interesting. That is very fascinating.
So Martinez now is at the very back of the pack, and as they come off turn 2... Oh, yeah, you can see the 01 weaving back and forth. He's completely out of fuel at this point. Holding up everybody, and it's just a big stack up from there. You see the 52 get involved, Keon Daly, Zane Grayson with a big impact, Blair in the 11, Martinez involved, Miles Mashburn with a little bit of it as well. Doesn't explain the '03's damage, but I think he got collected in the stack up under caution.
Yeah.
So that ends the day for several drivers. And this is the moment of truth right here. If the lights on the pace car do not go out this time, we will have a completed race under caution, and it will be Ryan Griffin as your winner.
You know, and I'll say this real quick that, you know, that was a really tough spot. The 01 and the outside lane couldn't get down once they run out of fuel. And this race is going to be over.
Yep, so the FPM team have got to be celebrating right now because Ryan Griffin, in his Nitro National Series debut, is going to go to victory lane at Daytona. You can't script this.
Incredible.
Oh, yeah, and we got a situation at the back of the top 10. Chrissy Spletzer could be out of gas here. They're on
Don't turn it off yet. Wow.
They're on the apron of the racetrack. They're on the flat. They're trying to. It looks like they're keeping pace, but and is Kaminsky out of gas too?
Boy, what a. Okay, well, we might have more drama in the final couple of laps.
We're looking for the field if anybody else is low on gas. No, I think it's just these two. I don't understand this because maybe Spletzer was at the front for a good chunk of this, but Kaminsky was barely at the front at all.
Oh, they're keeping pace right now. Boy, is this strange.
And we're coming to the double waved yellow and white flags. You never say never at this point. Remember what happened at Las Vegas last year when Raja Mahendra was coasting to the checkers under caution and his engine expired. That gave Santiago Alvarez the win. So
this is interesting. Something that these drivers do during caution, as we all know so well, is that to save fuel, which I'm sure they're all doing, is they'll shut the motor off and hold the clutch in and coast. And, you know, sometimes, you know, if it's cold, I'll tell you this, if it's a cold morning, didn't fill up your gas tank coming home from work the day before, you try to turn your engine on, you kind of need to give it a little bit of throttle, a little bit of this and that to get it going, you know. Maybe we're in a situation like that. These guys turning their engine off, and then they can't turn it back on. Of course, this car's moving, but coming into the pits now, total heartbreak. Oh, man, could it? I mean, we still have 2.5 miles to go under caution. We'll see what happens here, but, you know, could somebody else suffer the same fate? I don't know.
So Chrissy Spletzer gives up a spot in the top 10 to top off on fuel. That's just a heartbreak for that 86 team. They were doing so well. That'll give Robert Weaver a spot in the top 10 back, at least. So at least he'll have something to take out of this. And that'll move James Ellison in the 31, making his full-time appearance in the Nitro National Series. He'll be up into a position to get into the top 10 if someone else would have run out of gas. But Ryan Griffin, he's got to be praying that there's enough fuel. I am amazed that so many of these cars seemingly are able to make 50 laps on a single tank of fuel when the trucks couldn't even make it to 30.
Yeah, that is pretty incredible, honestly, because 30 laps is just past halfway. So for these cars to be efficient enough to make it all the way, almost doubly as long as the trucks is pretty amazing, and nobody else has dropped out. So we had, what, 2 or 3 cars ran out of fuel at the end of this thing, and I mean, we've been looking at Robert Weaver this whole time, saying that probably if anybody was going to run out of fuel, it would be Robert Weaver, but so far so good, and the 86 looks like possibly is out of fuel too.
Yeah, the 86 just came in the top off, so they're pulling up to the back of the line. But yeah, this is a bit of an anticlimactic inning. Oh, and Logan Williams couldn't make it the distance either. His engine expires, and he will be out of the race as well.
Darn.
But for Ryan Griffin and the finish line and the Fingai Saitomi Motorsports team, I always get those two confused. They're both driving Fords. It only makes sense. But for Ryan Griffin and for Fingai Saitomi Motorsports, their season couldn't get off to a better start. And as the pace car leads them off of turn 4 for the final time on the high banks of Daytona, Ryan Griffin, well, he won a championship last year, and now he can add the title of Daytona winner to his resume. Ryan Griffin, through the Tri-Oval, will win at Daytona to kick off the Nitro National Series for 2023.
Yep. Drives into the sunset as a winner underneath the stagnant checkered flag that was just hanging. But yeah, this is Boy, what a win. What a race we had. It is unfortunate that it had to end under caution. That's how it goes sometimes. But boy, oh boy, what a race we had up to that point. I mean, it was full of drama. It was full of excitement. We had a crash at the end that took out a few great contenders in that second pack. And, man, I'll tell you what, it was a race like none other that I've seen. But all of these drivers in the top 11, and then, of course, those that we weren't really watching in the second pack, just put on a great show for all the fans today, and a very well done from all of these drivers to put on a clean race until the very end. And really, that crash is unavoidable. You have a car, no fuel on the top lane, nothing you can do. But before then, absolutely clean race, fantastic race, side by side, beating and banging, and of course, the 92 crew has come out on top.
So Alex Verget-Barud will come home second, oh so close to a win at Daytona. Logan Jones for D4 Motorsports brings it home in the third position. Ryan Arnold salvages something out of Team Daysprings Day. He'll come home fourth. And for Bruin Kingley, he's never made a one-up start before. He'll round out the top five for a great start to Phantom Fury Motorsports season. Kaminsky managed to make it on fuel. He finishes sixth. Shantley Daniels seventh. Zachary Bilson eighth. Jonathan Lawson and the dominant driver of the race, Robert Weaver, rounding out the top 10 in this one. Well, what can I really say other than this is really what Daytona's all about? You have some intense racing at the front of the field, a few accidents here and there, but in the end, came down to fuel and came down to a late race yellow that sealed Ryan Griffin's fate as a winner at Daytona.
Yep, that's classic Daytona, and that's how it ends up here in the Nitro National Series. And I'll tell you what, I'm so excited for the rest of this season. After watching this race, these drivers are fantastic, just like they always have. We've got new faces in the series. We've got one of them going to victory lane, and we've got what is sure to be a fantastic battle for the championship this season between so many drivers that are so promising, so talented, and drive such fast race cars. It's gonna be absolutely awesome.
So from Duke Gainsack and from myself as well, we say goodbye from Daytona. We'll see you again in 2 weeks at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for race number 2 of the season. It's going to be a lot of fun out west, but for now, we say so long from Daytona. Ryan Griffin, man, congratulations to him. He gets his season off to a fantastic start. From the Truck Championship to the booth last night to victory lane today, Ryan Griffin is your winner at Daytona.